think you know who the top table is, so I think Gail's going to kick us off. No above on this, so over to you.
Warren, how tempted were you to make changes?
Not very.
When round we spoke this week about how discipline could possibly cost starting places, with that in mind, did you not look at Mako's four penalties and the yellow card and think maybe we should make a change here?
No.
New Zealand reportedly have had...
I didn't think I just went with that. I mean, the Mako Vunipola one, you look at that and then you put the Cody Taylor one side by side as we did. Exactly the same. He's a bit unlucky. The one that the referees penalised him for going on his knee, it's absolutely marginal where he's competed on the ball. So he hasn't collected Barrett's head or anything. That's been going on in the first two test matches. So well, it's not. And then there's a scrum penalty. So
you've not pulled him aside and had a word with him this week about it?
We've spoken to the team about making sure that we give way less penalties than the opposition, but to me, I didn't think anything wrong with the first one where he's gone to charge down a kick and he's followed through, so that's been given a penalty. Like I said, Cody Taylor does exactly the same thing in exactly the same time frame, and it's not a penalty. So I mean, there were dumber ones than that. Dumber penalties given away in the game by other players. So those are the ones that are avoidable. I just thought there was a couple of times that Mako was a bit unlucky.
In terms of your build-up this week, I've been hearing this morning about how physical New Zealand's build-up has been. A few punches thrown. By contrast, you decided to take a different approach. Given its work before, how surprised are you that people have questioned your methods this week?
I always get questioned Gail about everything. So it's not unusual for people that pop at me and question things. We had a pretty tasty session today, and there was
punches thrown.
There was some verbals anyway. It was a bit testy today. So obviously everyone is pretty aware how important the game is, but it's about having emotional control, isn't it? You want to take it to the edge, but you don't want to go over the top as well.
How much bigger does Auckland feel than Sydney 4 years ago?
To be honest, we haven't. We're a little bit isolated here in the hotel. You get to see people on the way to training and match day and stuff. So probably over the next couple of days, we'll probably really feel the impact of that. There's no doubt that there was. I thought the fans and the crowd in Wellington were fantastic, and the support that we had and the players were given from the crowd was obviously had an impact, and we're looking forward to a brilliant atmosphere on Saturday.
Is there any other way of looking at this than a career-defining moment for everybody involved?
In terms of what coaches,
players.
I don't think it doesn't make any difference to the players. I mean, there's no pressure on players from a Lions perspective because they go back to the luxury of their club side and their national union. So.
What about coaches then?
There's always a lot of pressure on the coaches. I mean, it's something we said before, and experienced in 2013, and coaches in 2009. So there's no difference to that. You know when you take the job on that there's going to be a lot of focus on the coaches, and particularly the head coach sometimes, and that's part of the expectation, part of the role, and it's not any different to 2013.
Career defining for you?
No, not at all. I'm pretty happy with what I've achieved in my career. So, 2019 I'll probably finish up after the World Cup and go to the beach and maybe retire, enjoy myself. So, definitely not career defining, I can promise you that.
Warren, talking of enjoying yourselves, how pleased are you with the effect at Queenstown when it comes to getting the intensity levels right for Saturday?
Look, I don't know. All I know is these guys needed a break. I mean, they've been training for 11 months, and we had one day off, which was the Wednesday in Wellington before the first test. It was the first day that we'd had off and that we weren't travelling or doing something. So the plan was to to give them a couple of days off. Now we could have come to Auckland, flown to Auckland and given them a couple of days off here, but there was an opportunity for us to, when you come to New Zealand, you come so far away, and you know, it's one of the most beautiful countries in the world. You get a chance to go to Queenstown and you want to give the players an opportunity to experience that. You know, why not avail of that? Why not use that as a chance to have a couple of breaks off, a couple of days off, and not make a big issue of where the venue was. Yeah, we could have done it anywhere, but we decided to do it somewhere that's incredibly beautiful, and we did the same in Noosa 4 years ago. And so it's something that, you know, we've found that worked in 2009 and 2013. I know that we've used it with Wales on a few occasions, and we used it in the World Cup when we had a short turnaround from towards a big game, from a Sunday to a Saturday game. We took Monday, Tuesday off, trained Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, very similar to this week, and you know, had a pretty good victory in London. So you know, something that we've used. We know what the template is, and so it's not anything different to what a lot of the players have experienced in the past.
And Warren, what's your thoughts on the All Black team that's been named? Obviously, they had to make a decision at centre, but they've really mixed up the back three, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, I was probably the one surprise for me was Severe being called back, and obviously being called back and because of his experience with Barrett and Mako at 12, you know, not having a lot of experience first starts, and his experience, and I think the familiar combination with Barrett at 10 as well, in the role that they have with the Hurricanes, and we expect defensively the All Blacks to be much more aggressive. We expect them to play Severe to play a lot more front line, try and shut us down from a defensive point of view, and I think that's the reason that decision is made, and so you know that was probably, you know, initially the one surprise, but you can understand the selection with Severe coming back in.
Sam, how excited are you, and how bang on is the squad in terms of getting that preparation right to peak for Saturday?
Yeah, all feeling pretty chilled out at the minute. I think it was good to have that break in Queenstown, and like Warren said, we've been training for a long time this season, so it's just about recovering and getting the bodies right and the minds right. And you know, it's still guys were seeing physios and masseurs and doing full recovery and on the laptops, keeping on top of moves and things. So you still keep the brain ticking over, but yeah, right now I won't get too excited until match day really. I think you don't want to waste too much emotional energy over such a big game. You appreciate it is going to be probably the biggest game that we've played in. But that's what every sacrifice you've made since you were a young kid and decided to be a rugby player is all about for moments like this. So all the guys are really excited, and preparation's going well for the game.
And finally for me, obviously, you missed the decider 4 years ago. How personally, as much as for the squad, is it going to be great to run out there and have this chance at Eden Park of all places against the All Blacks?
Yeah, that is one thing I did say 4 years ago, when selection for this tour was at my hands, so you can't really think about it too much. But 4 years ago, I did feel like it was a little bit of unfinished business for me personally. I would have loved to have finished off that tour. So for me, I was delighted when I found out I was going to be in the team again for this third deciding test. And you know, when my parents and friends are asking what I think is going to happen, you know, I always say, you know, what happens happens. I think things happen for a reason, but if I deserve to play, then I'll get picked, and if you don't, then you just get on with it. And I'm always the sort of person, I keep my head down and train hard and just wait for the next opportunity. So really pleased that you know I can have a chance to contribute into this third game, and yeah, be definitely the biggest guy I play.
Sam, what sort of a challenge are you expecting from New Zealand on Saturday night in Eden Park?
I think it'll be probably my 10th game I would have played against New Zealand, 9th or 10th game. So come up against them a lot of times, but I definitely expect a reaction, just like we had one in the second test after the first test defeat. But we've got all week to try and get ready for that. So I think it's going to be a real interesting, proper, epic test match. I think it's going to be very to and fro. There's going to be patches we're under pressure, there's going to be patches New Zealand under pressure, but hopefully we've got a pretty experienced team out there, and that's going to be enough to put us through.
And how important do you reckon the conditions or adapting to the conditions will be?
We'd be happy to play in any conditions really. We played in dry weather on this tour and wet weather, and you know, we got a plan for both, so I'd be confident that we can function in whatever way.
Warren, what has to be different this week, or where are you looking for the most improvements from a Lions point of view?
No, like, there's no doubt we weren't happy with the number of penalties we gave away, so that's been our focus in terms of not giving away soft penalties. That's definitely been what we've spoken about. But we haven't even really spoken about the All Blacks. I mean, it's been about us. It's kind of been a little bit. It feels a little bit ironic and it's strange and sort of almost like a role reversal that when you play against the All Blacks, you're trying to stop all their threats and you're picking a team to do that. But we haven't even spoken about that. We're just concentrating ourselves in our own game and going out and playing and doing what we've been doing and what's been successful for us. There hasn't been too much chat about individuals in their team as a player. We haven't even spoken about. We didn't even speak today about the team that was selected. The players knew the team. We didn't speak about any individuals or whatever. It's just about ourselves and concentrating ourselves, and we've continued to do that over the last few weeks. And we'll go out there and we're happy with the way we're playing. We're happy with the chances we're creating, tries that we're scoring at the moment. A couple of things to improve on, but I think we should all be excited for what potentially is going to be one hell of a test match.
How much more within the group is there in terms of potential?
We think we're scratching the surface. We think this team's got better and better, and we think we can get better in Sydney. GPS numbers, we looked at our GPS numbers, and I haven't seen it before, and the conditioners said they haven't seen us go up in the fourth quarter like that ever before. I mean, our meterage increasing and intensity increasing in the last quarter, so it just shows what good shape we're in physically, what good shape we're in sort of mentally to be able to do that. And we know as players that we've got another level in us, and that's kind of exciting. It's incredibly exciting that players feel like if we click, then we can do something pretty special.
And just the final one, in terms of the referee for Saturday night, the laws of the game are the same all over the world. Referees interpret things slightly differently sometimes. What are you expecting from them and what?
I just hope the referee's going with an open mind. That's all I'm asking. They're going with an open mind that the Lions, if they play well enough or good enough, will win. That's all I ask.
Sam, given the All Blacks are without maybe 5 of their first choice players, and there's the coaches Graham Roundtree has spoken about, the game not really being put on the park yet as Warren intimated just then, what's the belief like in the squad amongst you guys and the players?
I learned the hard way last year that it doesn't matter how many players they've got missing, there'll always still be a quality outfit. I didn't believe that last year either, and I was proved right. So I don't think that'll make too much of a difference. The guys who come in are still extremely talented rugby players, but like Warren said, I think this week the most important thing is it is about us this week. And I always say about when people ask me about preparation, you've got to control what you're in control of, and I'm not in control of which foot Bowen Barrett steps off or which direction of play they're going to go. You just got to focus on what you can do. So what we can do in defence, what we can do in the contact area, set piece, and you get all those things right, and it takes you a long way to win the game. So that's the way I approach matches. So make sure we tick all those boxes Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And we've had 2 good training sessions so far. And I think the boys will mentally be in an extremely good place after our captain's run tomorrow, and believe we can do a good job.
Warren, you said obviously that your players aren't under any pressure. Does that mean then it's...
I didn't say that, did I?
You asked if you're under pressure. You said the players weren't under pressure. You said the coaches were.
No, you're talking. That wasn't the question.
Okay, so
the question was you asked about under an alliance. So I don't think the players are under any pressure for their future.
Okay,
because they can go on a Lions tour and be, play and be relaxed. It's not about. It's not going to. I don't think it's going to affect their future selections because I'm not for a number of them not their coaches, so it's not going to make a difference for them. That's all I'm saying.
But they are under pressure this weekend, then, do you think?
Well, we're all under pressure, aren't we? Because good pressure, isn't it? You've got to be excited about this. A lot of those are some of the biggest games of their lives, so it's not going to define them. Though. It's going to be it's a pressure that you relish, and as Sam said, it's why you do all those hours of training and preparation because you want those moments, you want those big moments in sport, and sometimes they don't come around that often. But if you're lucky enough to play in finals and big matches and Saturday's a decider. There's nothing better than as a top sportsman or an athlete having the opportunity to do that. And that's pressure about the match, but not pressure about the future.
Is it an advantage for you though that obviously the All Blacks stay together and whatever happens next does affect those guys as a group? Is it an advantage for you guys that it's obviously not a shot to nothing, but you've got everything on the line for this, and you know, like you said, go separate ways afterwards, so just leave everything out.
Well, I think for a group of players that there's no doubt that, and we haven't spoken about it maybe in the next 24 hours and stuff, is that they have an opportunity to leave a bit of a legacy, don't they? An opportunity that has been since 1971. I think it was 11 tours in New Zealand, only one ever been won. So they have a chance to do something special, and you get those moments in your life, and you don't want those moments to pass you by. And that's what a big occasions and big sporting events are about. So I have no doubt that not today, but tomorrow and Saturday, the players will start thinking about it. And we don't, in a sense, you don't want to emotionally get too involved in creating those moments. And that's too far away, because you just spend yourself emotionally, and that'll take away from your preparation and your performance, and that'll build slowly over the next 48 hours or so to the match as it starts to get closer, and the players start to realise that what potentially could happen, and I said what a special moment that could be when he's series in New Zealand, creating a legacy, creating history for themselves, and doing something special.
And you talked about your future not being relevant to this weekend either necessarily, in terms of what you do after the World Cup and all the rest of it.
Look, I'm a great believer in what will be. It's the way I've always been. I don't think about the future. I don't sit here and plan what am I going to do in 2019 or what am I going to do next year. Things have just happened for the right reason. I've been lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time, and for me, the future will take care of it itself. You know, I have to believe that, because that's kind of the way that I've been. I don't sit here and plan and plot what's going to happen. If you're successful and wherever you are in your environment, then opportunities come your way, and that's kind of the way that I look at what will happen over the next couple of years. And Saturday will be great to win, but then the preparation, the focus goes on the autumn, the Six Nations, and preparing for Wales for the World Cup in 2019.
Ron, have you enjoyed the last few weeks, or will that depend on Saturday's result?
Look, I've said the other day, the last few weeks have been challenging, probably more challenging for my family and stuff. It's been full on. It's been hard preparing two teams for a week, and like I said, we haven't been based in one place, and the amount of travel we've had to do, and the quality of opposition has been great from a rugby perspective, but it means the preparation has been hardest. Having spoken to the other coaches, has been by far the hardest tour that we've been on as coaches, and the amount of hours and preparation the coaches and the trainers and the staff and the medics have been putting into the hours, the time to get up in the morning and finish at night has been tough. But hopefully we get the result on Saturday that makes it all worthwhile and rewarding afterwards.
So how self-satisfying would it be, given all that's been going on and all the challenges you faced, to get a serious win against the world champions?
That'll be reflective, I think. That'll be afterwards. I'll probably think back and look on some of the things that have happened. I have to reiterate that the hospitality that we've had in New Zealand, the people where we've gone have been brilliant. The support that I've had personally from friends, family, ex-teammates, people off the street has just been phenomenal, and I really appreciate that. We've been lucky enough to come and experience the intensity of rugby in New Zealand, and I think all of us understand why they're the best rugby nation in the world, because the structures they have in place, the teams that we play against, and I think all of us have learnt a lot from those experiences over the last few weeks, and hopefully not just as coaches but players when they go back to the UK. I'm sure if this group of players were to go and play a club game back in the UK or Ireland next week, they would be amazed by how slow the pace of the game was compared to what they've experienced in the last few weeks. So and we've got to take that knowledge and that experience back to Northern Hemisphere rugby and transfer that hopefully into what we've learned as players and coaches over for the next season in particular.
Warren, you talk about this team leaving a legacy. What do you want that legacy to be? How do you want them to be remembered at the end of the series?
I think we were conscious that coming to New Zealand that we wanted to be seen as being good tourists, both on and off the field. I like to think we've done that. And people tried to pigeonhole us that we're going to play a pretty sort of direct, boring game in terms of the way we played. I think we've played some great rugby. We know we've stressed the All Blacks at times, and we scored some great tries. And as a team, we felt we've got better as the time that we've had together as well. Look, it's been tough, but the atmosphere at the games has been phenomenal. Seeing the support that we've had from the UK and Ireland has been incredible. I said, and I hope both sets of fans have enjoyed that. It just shows how special the Lions are, and it's something that we need to protect for the future. And it'd be nice to be. You always want to be regarded as being a winner, don't you? So that's for us. Focus is on winning on Saturday and winning the series, and that was our ultimate goal when we came along, is having that confidence and belief to get on the plane that we were good enough to win in New Zealand, even though we were written off right from day one.
Warren, what would you say is the toughest part of this journey to get to where they are now?
The toughest part has been having the preparation time with the team, really, I suppose, in terms of you've had to make sacrifices because you're preparing 2 teams a week, and so that's I think in the future is that how many games are going to be in the future for Lions tours, but they need to have that time together in the UK or Ireland before they get on the plane and have some proper preparation time. Whatever country they're in, and maybe not a game before the first test as well, so you can prepare properly for that first test and give yourselves the best opportunity. So that's been the biggest challenge, but we knew right from the start, we knew it was going to be tough, and we'd like to think that we've tried to deal with that in the best way that we could. I know there's been people who've disagreed with the way that we've done that, but after this I'll reflect back and say, were some of those decisions the right decisions? I don't always make the right calls, but you try and make the decisions you think are right at the time. But as in 2013, I'm always someone who reflects back on decisions, and I like to think I'm happy enough to put my hand up and say, look, I made a mistake, or that was a wrong call, or I'll do it differently in the future. And that's part of learning about the process, and part about learning about what you do to make things better in the future. Like I said, I'm not always right, but sometimes you get lucky and get a right call every now and again.
One more, please, Ross. Thank you.
Warren, we talked about how there were 9 changes between the first and the third test back in 2013. You've got the luxury of selecting an unchanged 23. We expected casualties on this tour because of the intensity of the fixtures. How surprised are you that you've got that luxury?
Yeah, no, pretty surprised, yeah. I think our managers have done a brilliant job keeping the players fit and, from week to week. I think the coaches and the fitness staff have managed the players really well in terms of when they've been into contact sessions, stayed out of contact sessions, missed some of the training sessions. You've got to manage players as well as you possibly can in the modern game, and I think we've trained smartly as well. I think we've trained. We looked at some of our GPS numbers over the course of we've been here, and the intensity we've had at training has been higher in the games. So the guys, they know that they've done the work. They know they've been trained at a high intensity. We haven't had long sessions. I think today was about 45 minutes. Yesterday we were a little bit longer than that, so 40-45 minute training session tomorrow will be really short and sharp. So we can transfer hopefully what we've done into trainings, into the games, and the guys are in good shape. End of the long season, so we're looking at intensity, and I think the players, potentially the way they've been managed in terms of how much has been full on contact stuff and the length and the intensity of trainings. I think it comes down to some experience and backing the advice and opinion of all the staff that you have involved. Whether it's the medics or the conditioner. And we sit down every day. I'll sit down with the medics and with conditioners and talk about what tomorrow is going to look like. Reflecting on the training from the day before and how much we need to do. And I think we've been lucky enough from that fantastic group of people that we've got to work with, and I think that's helped in terms of maybe keeping some players on the park and not picking up too many injuries, because if you look at the quality of the opposition that we had before the start of the tour, we may have expected more than the number of casualties that we've had.
Thank you very much.